and to some other stories that have got us talking this week.
Yeah, joining us to flick through the week's papers are Imam and broadcaster Saba Amidi and religion and ethics presenter Ray Duke. Great to see you both.
Hey.
Ray, you're going to start with a story that's related to the King.
The King, yes. So once King Charles was proclaimed our new King, members of Parliament pledged their loyalty to him. And the majority of MPs did that by making an oath in the name of God, and they did that holding a Bible. But Sir Keir Starmer, the leader of the opposition, chose to make a solemn affirmation instead, which is a secular affirmation, and it avoids any reference to God. He wasn't the only person to do that. Penny Mordaunt, who's the newly appointed leader of the House of Commons and his Truss's cabinet, also chose to affirm rather than take an oath. Now, Sir Keir has always been very open about the fact that he's an atheist, and if he were to win the next election, he'd be the first openly atheist leader in British history. So I really respect him for being authentic to himself and for avoiding saying something that ultimately he doesn't believe in. But what's given me pause for thought is that in Jesus' teachings, his Sermon on the Mount, his moral teachings, he actually says that we should never need to take an oath because our word should always be reliable and trustworthy. And the idea of embellishing it with religious language to make it more so is madness, really. So actually, this might be a situation where the Christian thing to do, what's seen as the Christian thing, is just our culture and our history, as opposed to having anything to do with our sacred text.
Yeah. Is doing an oath, Saba, a bit like sort of standing on the hilltops and saying, I have faith, which actually probably isn't what we should be doing, because faith comes from inside, doesn't it?
Yeah, so I think you made a lot of good points. I think for me, as a Muslim faith leader, I respect Keir Starmer, whether he holds a Bible of faith or not of faith, like I respect anybody else.
Yeah.
But I think it's really important that Keir Starmer acknowledges the 60% of people in the UK who believe in God, because at the end of the day, he could become our next Prime Minister, and he'll represent both sides, those of faith and not of faith. So, yeah, it's entirely up to him. There's no compulsion in religion. Keir Starmer could do what he wants, but maybe acknowledgement...
But to be fair, he hasn't said he won't represent.
Of course not. No. But, I mean, if the acknowledgement's there, it might be nice in the country which we live in.
Now, Saba, from politics to parenting, you've got a story for us.
I have, yeah. And the reason why I love this story is because this story talks to three people, or three groups of people. Number one, parents who are going through parenthood, the challenges.
Yeah.
Number two, those people who want a dose or an insight into parenthood. And number three, those individuals who advocate for achieving positive mental health. So this story is from the Daily Mail, and the title is The Top 10 Promises Couples Break When They Become Parents. Everyone's smiling because we know the drill. So limiting screen time, never shouting, and not using a tablet as a babysitter are the top 10 vows we break on becoming parents, a poll reveals. Top of the list are broken vows. I'm sure everyone's got their own. With 40% of those votes that with the intention to always limit kids' screen time. I fall victim to that. Yeah. A third thought they would never bribe their children, no matter how naughty they were, while 39% said that they would never raise their voice. Now, we've all got our own stories, but I think it's important to say that every child is raised differently, and every situation is different, and each situation is dependent on the child itself. So the struggle is real.
That's true.
It really reminded me of a meme that says on one side, the parent that I always thought I'd be, and it's Mary Poppins with a robin on her finger, and on the other side, the parent that I actually am, it's Miss Hannigan, the lady that ran the orphanage, and Annie with clutching a glass of wine. And yeah, your expectation is so different to the others, isn't it?
And aunties would always say, do this, do this, do this, but when their own kids come, they're like,
it's true.
See, I haven't got children, but I always imagine I would be that kind of parent that would only allow one of those tiny little phones with just one number in mind. Yeah. But it's just not at all realistic. It's not realistic.
Like the rest of us.
Change, and the struggle, like I said, is absolutely
And there's
real.
great stuff on tablets and television, some educational stuff that, my kids learn a lot from.
Well,
no guilt.
No guilt. I've got a story for you now, and I love this one, right? Derry couple who have put their Christmas tree up and part of their decorations. This is a couple, Dermot and Gary Bradley Moore from Derry. They've already partially decorated their house, put their Christmas tree up. They said they decided to put the decorations up early as they were the last to do it on their street last year, and they wanted to get in there, you know? Now, you are looking at somebody who has in-depth discussions with my sister as to when it's too early to watch Holiday or Die Hard, because Die Hard is a Christmas film. Die Hard 1 and 2. You know, and I think, actually, if it's not hot, if the nights are drawing in, go for it.
What's stopping you?
Because I'm very nice up. Well, I mean, we do it, not
this, you're not that patient.
No, we do it at the start of December, but I'd be all for it. I'd go for it.
I love Christmas, but when it gets early, so this couple in Londonderry that have done this, it just makes me feel it sort of takes away from the fact that what Christmas is and why we celebrate Christmas and all of this stuff, the presents we buy, putting the Christmas tree up like whatever is it, 4 months early, all that just takes away from what it really is about.
I don't know how you'd also keep that, sustain that.
I know. No, you're starting high. Where are you going to end?
I don't celebrate Christmas, but my in-laws do, so I partake in their celebration. And if they wanted to put the Christmas tree up early, just let them do it. Like, I feel like we're living in a time now where we're all looking for like, a bit of good news and a bit of hope. And if that's what gives them their good news or make them feel good, just crack on with it.
Yeah. Each to their own.
Exactly. Each to their own.
But you are right, though, Sean, I think, about the whole kind of the way we see Christmas now.
Yeah.
I do think you are right.
But
I'm just a magpie. I like anything shiny.
Right, I'm going to tell you my story. It's in the Telegraph. Don't blame dad dancers. It's in their genes. So if your dance floor prowess is limited to clumsy dad dancing, you can now take solace in knowing that you inherited it from your father. So, I mean, this answers so much to me. Most likely, you will pass it on to your children as well, my poor kids. Data shows that the ability to stick to a rhythm is a partially hereditary trait and is encoded in 69 different genes. So this was a team of researchers in the US who analysed genetic data from 600,000 people. So that's a lot of people, and they found a varying degree of skill. It's based on a gene. I mean, Sabra, I'm looking at you. You're laughing.
Don't look
you
at me.
look like
My dad doesn't dance, I don't dance, and we don't wear jeans. So it's definitely not in my genes. So it's not one for me, this one.
Ray?
It kind of excuses some of the lack of rhythm and the keeping with the beat, but not all of the... It doesn't give a full explanation for the dodgy moves that I think you see some dads breaking out on dance floors. But I always remember my drum teacher telling me that you can tell if you're in a musical crowd if everyone's clapping on the second and fourth beat, because that's where the emphasis should be, but everyone claps on the first and the third. So it's a natural thing, you know, you've either got rhythm or you haven't, so yeah.
1, 2, 3.
In the genes.
1, 3.
You can do it. So I'm going to be belly dancing later on.
Yeah.
I'm a bit worried about it, to be honest. So we'll see whether I've got that rhythm. I don't know. I mean, you know, dad dancing, like so many dads do it. I think you've got to own it. You just got to get up there and just do it. I don't know why I'm starting to do some dancing. Make it stop.
Will you be snake hip Sean?
I don't know. No, I know I'm not. I won't be.
What a weekend on Strictly Weekend as well.
Oh, yes, yeah. I mean, that's...
Giving us a bit of a belly dance.
Yeah. Hey, look, it is wonderful to talk to you.
Yeah,
I would get you to do some dancing, but I think you've
been kind.
Yeah, really, really good. I'm afraid that's all we've got time for the moment, but thank you for your contributions.
Thank you.